You're not going to believe what just happened to me and my brand new car. I'm talking less than a week off the lot, still had the temp tags on it. And now, the entire driver's side is completely smashed in, thanks to one of the most unhinged HOA Karens I've ever dealt with. Yeah, that's right. This wasn't just an accident. This was personal. It started like any normal afternoon. I had just parked my new car in front of my own house, right where I've always parked. Not blocking anyone, not on anyone else's property. But apparently, that was just too much for her to handle. She marched up, shouting about community standards and parking restrictions, even though I'm well within my rights. I tried to keep calm, told her it wasn't her business, and that's when she absolutely lost it. I went inside for a few minutes to cool off. When I came back out, I heard the sound of something metal scraping against paint, and there she was, rock in hand, dragging it across the side of my brand new car like she was doing yard work. I froze. For a second, I didn't even know what to do. But what happened next? I don't think she saw it coming. Let's just say, I didn't have to wait for karma. I brought it with me. Stick around, because what she did after I called her out made the whole situation go from crazy to absolutely unbelievable. So let me give you some background, because this didn't come out of nowhere. This woman, let's call her Karen for now, has been a problem in the neighborhood for a while. She's the self-appointed HOA watchdog, even though she's not even on the board anymore. Got removed last year for, you guessed it, harassing residents. Since then, she's been going around with a clipboard, taking pictures of people's lawns, trash cans, and now, apparently, vehicles. Ever since I moved in, she's had something to say about everything I do. Where I park, how long my porch light stays on, whether my grass is too long by an inch. But I always let it slide. I figured, whatever, she's just bored. But this time, she crossed a line. Big time. The car I just bought? It's my dream car. I saved for years. It's nothing flashy, but it's mine. And seeing her scratch it, up with that smug look on her face, that was something else. She wasn't panicking. She wasn't even sneaky about it. It was like she wanted me to see her doing it. Like she thought she could get away with it just because she's lived here longer and knows people I started recording on my phone, quietly from the side. I didn't say anything at first. Just let her keep going. Every scrape. Every word. She mumbled about teaching me a lesson. I caught all of it. What she didn't know? That was going to be the last time she messed with me or anyone else on this street. The longer I recorded, the worse it got. Karen started yelling louder, claiming my car was ruining the look of the neighborhood, and that she was doing the Gacy a favor. She even said the words, "Maybe now you'll learn how this community works." I couldn't believe it. This wasn't just some random outburst, it was targeted. And I wasn't the only one she'd been coming after. A few houses down, there's an older couple who'd told me they'd received anonymous notes about their mailbox color not meeting standards. Another neighbor got flagged for hanging. Wind chimes. Wind chimes. It was all adding up. This wasn't about rules. This was about control. As I watched Karen walk away like nothing happened, I noticed something tucked under her windshield. One of those old violation slips the HOA used to leave before she got kicked off the board. She'd been printing them herself. And suddenly, the pieces clicked together. She was running her own fake version of the HOA, trying to scare people into following her personal rules. I called the actual HOA office. They were just as shocked. "She's not authorized to issue anything," the rep told me. "She has no position here anymore." That meant everything she'd been doing was completely unofficial and illegal. But what she didn't know was that I already had video proof, and the HOA was now aware. The question was, how far had she gone with this power trip? And what else had she done that nobody had caught yet? After I hung up with the HOA, I started hearing more stories from neighbors, People I'd barely spoken to before were suddenly reaching out. One guy down the block said Karen had reported him to animal control because his dog barked too joyfully. Another neighbor showed me a fake fine she left in his mailbox, threatening a $250 fee for having Halloween decorations up too long. It wasn't just annoying anymore. It was serious. She'd been scaring people, pretending she had legal power, and now she'd gone as far as vandalizing property that night. I couldn't sleep. My car was scratched, my neighbors were stressed, and Karen was still walking around like she ran the place. I kept replaying the video footage I took, her voice, her actions, the way she looked completely confident doing it. I knew I had what I needed, but I didn't just want to file a report. I wanted to stop her from doing this to anyone else. The next morning, I got an email from the real HOA board. They said they were launching an internal review and that several other homeowners had submitted complaints. But what caught my attention was the last line. We received an anonymous tip that she's been accessing our letterhead and templates to create fake violation notices. So not only was she impersonating the HOA, but she'd been stealing official materials to make it look real. And now, with multiple witnesses and my video evidence, it all pointed to one final move, one that would force her to face everything she thought she'd get away with. Just when I thought we had enough to finally shut Karen down, the story took another wild turn. I got a call from a private number. At first, I thought it was just spam, but curiosity got the better of me. I picked up, and a shaky voice on the other end said, "You don't know me, but I used to live in your neighborhood." Until Karen made my life a nightmare. The woman explained that 2 years ago, she'd moved out suddenly and sold her home for less than it was worth, because Karen had waged a months-long campaign of fake violations, lawn complaints, and even noise reports that never actually existed. Said Karen had a pattern. Target new homeowners or people she thought didn't belong in the community, then make them miserable until they left. That was her power trip. And now that her access to the HOA was gone, she'd just started printing her own warnings and roping in clueless residents to back her up. But here's where it got really disturbing. The woman claimed Karen had once hacked into the HOA's outdated email system using old login credentials from her time on the board. If true, that meant Karen wasn't just impersonating the HOA. She may have actually been sending messages from their real accounts. I hung up and sat there in total disbelief. If what this caller said was true, this went way beyond vandalism. Or fake fines. This could be fraud, real legal trouble. And she had no idea I was onto her. The very next morning, I walked into the HOA office with a printed packet, photos of the damage to my car, copies of the fake violation letters, and a flash drive with video of Karen in action. I also forwarded the email chain from the woman who called me, plus screenshots of Karen's supposed HOA emails that matched the real format. The board members were quiet as they flipped through everything, but their faces said it all. This wasn't just going to be handled internally anymore. Within hours, the HOA filed a formal complaint with local authorities. An IT expert confirmed that someone had accessed the HOA email system using an old board member login, Karen's. That sealed it. And just as I thought we were done, the police asked if I'd seen anything else suspicious lately. That's when I remembered Karen had a storage shed near the community clubhouse. A few neighbors said they'd seen her in there, but it was supposed to be HOA access only. Turns out she'd been using it as her own little operations hub. Inside, they found stacks of printed fake violations, old HOA files she shouldn't have had, and even a list of problem houses she was keeping tabs on. My name? Right at the top, Karen was hit with multiple charges: vandalism, impersonation, and unauthorized access. But the real twist? As she was being taken away, she yelled, "You think this is over? I did this for the neighborhood." That moment told me everything. This wasn't just control. It was obsession. After that final outburst, things finally started to settle. Karen was banned from all HOA activities and community spaces, and she ended up facing real legal consequences, not just for what she did to my car, but for impersonating a legal entity and accessing private records. The neighborhood felt like it could finally breathe again. The real HOA apologized to me and a few other residents who had been targeted, and they promised to improve their system, updating their login security, better record keeping, and clear communication, so something like this wouldn't happen again. It wasn't perfect, but it was progress as for my car. The damage was fully covered after I handed over the police report and video proof to insurance. It's already repaired, and it honestly looks better than before. But more importantly, I gotta watch a bully get held accountable. Not just for what she did to me, but for how she made so many people in the community feel small and powerless. Neighbors who barely used to talk now wave and stop to chat. People feel safer. It's like the air changed once she was gone. We all realized we let someone take too much control just because we didn't want to deal with the drama. But standing up, especially when it's uncomfortable, is what actually protects a neighborhood. So yeah, if someone ever keys your car, pretends they're in charge, or tries to scare you,